Hello everyone. I just wanted to make this video out. I'm trying to reach some people, maybe spread the message a little bit. So I hope this, can impact you in some way. I wanted to explain a few things that I've been through. I feel like I wouldn't have gone through this if I wasn't supposed to share it with someone. So I felt like YouTube was the best outlet to do it. So first off, I remember riding with my family up our popular street here, and I was looking out the window and just thinking innocently to myself, I was thinking, I wonder why the owners chose those two colors for their sign. The two colors were red and white, not like it matters, but I was just, innocently wondering why the owners chose those colors. And all of a sudden, I had this huge wave of insight, of information, just flowing right through me. And it was so quick, maybe like, less than a second. It was just a flash, and then it was gone. But within the second, I knew everything. So all of a sudden I knew all this, flash of insight, but since it happened so quick, I wasn't able to retain any of the information. It was that instantaneous. And it wasn't until years and years later, when I started researching on the internet, that I found out that, a lot of people have been going through the same thing, mostly through near-death experiences, which mine was not. I've never experienced a near-death experience, but it was quite similar to that, where they just had this flash of insight and knowledge and knew everything. But since it was so much information and so quick, it just kind of rushes out of you. The second thing that I think is of major importance and is one of my key principles in life happened in 2010. I remember waking up in bed, and I didn't have to go to work that day, so I was content in just laying down, relaxing, maybe going back to sleep. So just feeling very comfortable and, content. So as I was laying in bed, I felt these vibrations, and I attributed that to, a prelude to being out of body or astral projection. So as I was feeling these vibrations, I wasn't trying to induce them, I wasn't trying to enhance them, I was just kind of letting it be, letting it, do its thing. And with these vibrations, I all of a sudden heard a man's voice. It was clearly a male's voice, and it was almost like, not really within me, but telepathically asking me these questions. And he asked me if I would forgive so-and-so. He asked me like about 5 or 6 different people. And as he said the names, if I would forgive, John Smith or, John Doe, whatever, I would instantly get all this knowledge about that person. I knew, their sins, every thought and deed and action. I knew their heart. So I knew them intimately. And as his voice was asking me these questions about if I would forgive so-and-so, I would respond, not really a yes or no answer, but I would respond with my feeling. Like, once I understood who this person was and how they were like, I would respond with, in my heart, if I would forgive them or not. And I realized, if I would say yes, I would forgive this person, the vibrations would get stronger and higher. So very, very powerful. And if I said no, that I wouldn't forgive that person, then the vibrations would fade and, start to get, weaker. So again, he asked me about 5 or 6 different people, and, the more I said yes, the higher my vibrations would come. And if I said no, again, it would start to diminish. Well, the last person he asked me, my answer was a negative. I didn't feel in my heart I could forgive them. Their acts were too atrocious or what have you. And so the vibrations diminished and faded altogether, and the voice went away after that. And it wasn't until after this whole ordeal was over that I realized that I was supposed to have said yes to every single person. And it seems so bizarre to me because I realize I realize the depth of evil that people can take, and being human and morally ethic, I'm thinking to myself, well, how can I forgive something like that? That's too unforgivable. That's, insane. I'm sorry, I can't, that was too evil. And, but with this voice basically testing me, he was testing me, saying, that I was supposed to forgive everyone. And again, it's not in my place to forgive, but I think he was just testing me out. And I can't say for certain who this voice, what this voice was coming from. I couldn't tell you. It is something that I would like to know, of course, but I can't say for certain. I'm not going to say flat out, it was God speaking to me, or it was the devil, or an angel, or whoever, because I don't know. I don't know for certain. But with his questions and him testing me about forgiveness, it made me realize that no matter how evil a person can be, they still have that chance to come back from that. No matter what morally reprehensible things they've done, no matter what sins they've committed, they still have that chance to turn back and turn away from that darkness and follow the light and love, and finally come to that realization that what they were doing was wrong. So I honestly believe in my heart that everyone is capable of forgiveness, and it's not necessarily our job as humans to do that. I mean, they have that saying in the Bible, "Judge not, lest ye be judged." But when we keep saying we're not going to forgive you, not going to forgive you, not going to forgive you, that's going to give them no reason to turn back. They're like, well, I'm already in too deep. There's no way I'm going to get out. No one's going to forgive me, so I might as well just continue down this dark path. And that's what we don't want. So that's why I think forgiveness is a huge key, a huge principle, and I think, everyone should know that. And again, this was his voice testing me, so I figure, well, why is he coming here testing me? For what reason? Am I supposed to do something with this knowledge? So I figure, hey, I'll spread the message. So that's what I'm doing. So that was the second major influence in my life. Back again, just wanted to continue on with the messages. So the third thing that happened to me was in 2014, and again, it was last year. I remember being at a, kind of low point in my life. In all honesty, I feel very blessed. So I feel very fortunate, but as with everybody, there comes, a low point in your life where you feel this emptiness inside you. Like, what's the point? What's the meaning of all this? Why are we here? So that's what I was going through at that point. I remember being kind of desolate, feeling very lonely, as if there was a void, and, thinking to myself, what's the meaning of all this? And at that point, this voice inside of me, it wasn't a male voice this time. It was almost like it was my own voice, like an inner voice. And this voice responded, and it said, love. That's all this voice said, love. And I remember standing there, and I kind of just scoffed out loud. I was thinking to myself, I just scoffed at it, and I was like, okay, I'll bite, I'll believe you if you show me a sign. So I was basically testing, this voice out, or this message, whoever was, giving me this message. I said, all right, I'll bite if you show me a sign. And I was very specific with what I wanted. I said, I want to see the word love 3 times today, and then I'll believe you. So this is me talking back to, this voice within me saying, all right, I'll believe you when you give me my signs. So I was being, kind of stubborn. I was like, you show me the word love 3 times today and I'll believe you. So after that, I kind of, went on with my day. I had to get up, get ready, and go to work. So as I was driving to work, I remember being stopped at a red light and just reading the bumper stickers, of the cars in front of me. And this one in front of me, right in front of me, said, "Love is the answer." And, I kind of thought to myself, I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive, but that was still only one time. So, sorry, but you're going to have to show me 2 more times. So I was, kind of baiting, it, and saying, that was pretty impressive, showing me right off the bat, love is the answer. I mean, pretty good, but still need 2 more times. So I went on with my day, I didn't let it affect me, and I went to work, did my job, and as I was going out to lunch, I remember driving past this billboard, and the billboard said, "Love heals." And it had a picture of, a family it looked like at a park or something playing outside. And, said "Love heals." And, that kind of got me to stop. And I was thinking to myself, wow, that's, pretty good. I'm actually taken aback. Like, wow, I've got, my 2 signs already. Let's see if you can go for a 3rd. And throughout the day, I was deliberately, not going out of my way to try to find the sign and not going out of my way to not see the sign. I was just letting it be. Whatever happens, happens. I was, leaving it up to whoever to give me these signs. So I wasn't trying to look through, Christmas cards or Valentine's Day cards or, stuff like that. Just kind of letting it be. So, I go back to work, I go throughout my day, and, I realized as the day went on that I wasn't receiving my 3rd sign, and at this point, I have to admit, I was feeling pretty down. I was like, man, I knew I wasn't going to see my 3rd sign. I just knew it. Like, it's just all coincidence and a fluke, so it's not real. So I was feeling pretty down, pretty low, like, God, go figure, So the day went on, and it was getting night, and since I knew I didn't have to work the next day, I like to stay up pretty late, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, things like that. And I decided to, drag myself off to bed, and I like to read on my phone, different things. And since I am interested in, lucid dreams and how to, induce them, that's what I was looking up. And, the whole 3rd sign had just about left my mind at this point. I had, pretty much given up. I was like, man, I knew I wouldn't see it, so, why bother? I'm just done. So as I was laying in bed, just reading through my phone, reading about lucid dreaming, I finished the article, and then I like to scroll down to read people's comments, just to see, their perspective of the article, their comments, their suggestions, and things like that. So as I was looking for these comments, I realized there weren't any. It didn't accept comments. So, but on my way down, scrolling past the article, I was scrolling down all these other ads, like car insurance ads and diet pills and things like that. And the very last article, or the very last ad of that article, said, "Meditate on love." And immediately I looked up at the time on my phone to see what time it was, because I'm like, if it's past 12, I'm sorry, but it doesn't count. And so the time said 11:46, and so just 14 minutes before midnight. And it was crazy because I had just about given up at that point. I hadn't even thought about it, for the longest time. I was just like, go figure, I wouldn't get it. And so it's almost like it was slapping me in the face, like, yes, you did get your 3rd sign, now what are you going to do about it? And it was like it deliberately waited until the last minute before it gave me my sign. Like, you thought we weren't going to give it to you, but here it is. So it's like, it was messing with me. And, but I have to admit, I got my 3 signs all within that one day. And I was thinking to myself, if this had been any normal day, would the same thing have happened? Like, would I really have seen the word love 3 times throughout the same day if I didn't ask for it? Is it just a coincidence? Is it fluke? Whatever. And looking back, I can't remember a time it has happened. But then again, you're not paying attention, so I can't really say that as my argument. But all I know is I asked for my 3 signs, and I got them, and I have to stick with it. That was my message, and so I'm sending it out to you. And, I really hope more and more people pick up on it, because with the way the world is going, everyone seems, kind of not really violent, but more eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, like vengeance. And I don't think that's the way to go about it. I think that's just an endless cycle that's going to keep going on and on and on. So in order to stop that cycle, we need to stop it and be like, hey, we're loving. We're more loving than we are evil. So we just need to spread that message and be like, and realize, that people know that, hey, no matter how far dark and deep you go, there's still chance to, get forgiveness and go to the light. And that's one thing I do advocate, Jesus and God. And no one wants to talk about that really anymore. They kind of cut that back from mainstream, media. And people want to ridicule you if you do believe in that kind of thing. But honestly, with the things I've seen, with things I've experienced, and other people are experiencing it, it's not just a trick of the mind. There's a spiritual warfare going. And I know how crazy that sounds, but when you look at it, I don't want to go into too much detail. I would just suggest, you look it up and, find out what's been going on, kind of undercover, hidden from our eyes. And lately, it's becoming more in the forefront, and we're seeing it everywhere. Another thing that ties in, with this spiritual warfare going on, near-death experiences is something that I think it's a controversy. Some people believe in it, and some people don't. Some people believe that even if it is happening, they don't believe it comes from God. And my perspective is, these near-death experiences are trying to get people to be loving, to be kind to one another, compassionate to each other. That is completely different from the other side of the warfare. Okay, the devils and the demons, what have you, they're the exact opposite of the love and light. They want nothing to do with it. So they're going to try to take you to the darker path, which is, it's violence, anger, racism, hatred, drugs, perversion. All of that is opposite. And in near-death experiences, you see none of that. All of it is about loving one another, being kind to each other, how you treat each other. So I just want you to be aware. I think a lot of us are coming to a time where we're starting to see these things finally and opening our eyes to the truth. So I wanted to spread my message, and I hope it reaches out to you. And, even though there are people who won't believe or they're not going to believe, it doesn't mean it's not happening. When you look into it, there are things going on in the world, and so I just wanted to kind of leave it at that. If you have any experiences you'd like to share, then please, I'd love it if you left it in the comments. It would help me out and help a lot of other people out, to try to see the truth and, be saved. So that's the whole thing here. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it.